IVM.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 36 of the Fighting G.O.A.T, where your host and those Superhuman Kamra and Arjun, aka Mystic Chips, will take you across all the action, UFC 267, the GOATs, how people and fighters and businessmen and actors prime in their later years, and a lot more after this short commercial break.
Hey everybody, it's been a great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Advertising is Dead, Varun explores brand experiences in a post-pandemic world. He's joined by Arun Srinivas and Shravat Aluru. On Smarter with Sid, Siddharth reviews the YouTube Shorts funds and details its strengths and challenges. On Marathi Kirtitun, Dr. Rajiv and Manik Deshmukh reminisce about the close relationship between bicycles and childhood. On Say No to Drama, Chetna decodes the drama around the expectations and their resultant disappointment. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Cred, Bank of Baroda, Quarter, CoinSwitch, Kuber, Slay Coffee, Intel, Kotak Mahindra Bank, and Oxfam India. Thank you so much for making this possible.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Fighting G.O.A.T. We have with us the usual suspects, Arjun, aka Mystic Chips, and Somesh, Superhuman Kamra, that will run you through all the action in the world of combat sports. A lot more gyan, so much masti. Stop coughing, yaar. Pata
so
hai,
much gyan. Thak gaya, yaar.
Diwali hai, pata hai.
You can already smell the fatakas. You know, one of the best things. By the way, guys, happy Dhanteras.
Happy Dhanteras,
very,
guys.
very auspicious day.
Yes.
So wake up in the morning, have your bath, have your coffee, have samosas and shankar pare
and jalebis.
Chakli. Okay, only this is different kind of chakli. This is morning chakli, not the chakli with Shahjahan sauce at Padmavati bar. Very different. What is that bar we go to after our shows, Somesh?
I think it's called Panchmukhi.
Panchmukhi, man.
Yeah.
It was such a depressing thing that at 4 in, but actually it was not. Remember, we left the studio at about 5 in.
Yes.
We finished recording live for UFC 267, which was an incredible show, incredible success. But we were on our way back and I left a little early at 5 o'clock. And I swear to God, I could see lights inside and I could hear some sound coming out of
Well, it's such an irony that there's something called Panchmukhi after a show. So
I know, right?
It even has a punch in it. Yeah.
And we should tell them that it's like, please sponsor us Panchmukhi. Punch. This food brought to you by Panchmukhi.
Oh man.
Right.
But speaking of Panchmukhi and the punches, Yas Island was absolutely rocking on the eve of UFC 267. And what an honor it was for us to be back in the studio. Wasn't it?
And we were opening the show. Dude, we were opening the show.
It was crazy.
It was amazing. Sometimes I can't believe that, we get paid for that. It is unbelievable.
Absolutely.
It's the greatest job in the world.
And we had a correspondent who was there in Yas Island, coordinating with us and telling us what's happening. So it was so much fun.
I think it was Piyush, right? Who was there? I think somebody.
I don't know who was there, but for those 3 hours, I kind of felt like Arnab Goswami, where your reporters there and you're like, yes, the nation wants to know.
And the nation found out. Actually, there was a segment where our correspondent from Sony had recorded some very good messages.
Yes.
From people. Being a part of such an incredible event was always awesome. It's a great thing India is now being represented because there were so many fighters that gave a shout out to India. The now new champion, Glover Teixeira. Clearly, I like Somesh and I were joking around saying that I think UFC Lucknow is a bigger possibility than Bombay or Delhi anytime soon.
Absolutely. In fact, Glover Teixeira, the newly crowned light heavyweight champion, clearly said he loves this entire aura of meditation and he's reading a book on yogi.
Yogi Adityanath, na?
Now, I don't know which yogi he's talking about because if it's the chief minister of Uttar Pradesh, I think Glover Teixeira could be there for the UP elections.
That's why I'm telling you, man. He's looking the part also. It's looking very yogi-like.
Yeah. Yes.
He's shaved his head. He's lost a lot of... Have you noticed how much of weight he's lost?
Yes, he's just looking so much lean.
Looking so lean.
As in Yogi or Glover?
Both, man. Yogi was always ripped. Yogi was always ripped and all. I mean, under his waist, you can't see it, but abs and all he has. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a sanskari diet.
The sanskari diet.
Yeah.
No, but coming back to all the glamour and everything, and there are a couple of major standouts. I think Glover Teixeira at the age of 42 winning the belt was one of the most incredible things that we've ever seen.
Absolutely.
And, well, amongst one of the incredible things that we've seen in the world of fighting. But we'll get into that a little deeper later. But dude, how good were Islam Makhachev and Khamzat Chimaev?
Oh man, you know what? This card was stacked top to bottom. The opening fight, I feel, was so good. It just started off the note on a high. UFC 267 started off in the light heavyweight division with Magomed Ankalev and Volkan Ozdemir go back and forth. And it was so beautiful to watch. It was technical. It was great. And it was followed up by Khamzat Chimaev versus Li Jingliang. Man, it started off with a decision. That technical submission by Khamzat Chimaev was absolutely insane. It was insane. I mean, this guy has, I think, absorbed one strike versus some 254 odd strikes that he has thrown.
I don't know. Those kind of stats are, firstly, they're baffling. One shot in 6 or 4 fights or whatever.
4 fights, yeah.
And the thing is that it's when you compare explosive people, explosive fighters, explosive cricketers, it's like when you see even hamare team mein, when Kohli came onto the scene after his under 19 win, and when we saw Mahendra Singh Dhoni's helicopter shot, and we used to see Virender Sehwag treat every match like a 2020. Regardless of what the stakes were. I don't remember when Sehwag used to just stand on the crease and just hammer away at everybody from the get-go.
I think there was a time where Sachin had gone to Sehwag and said, "Bhai, ye test match hai."
Correct.
And
Kalyan mein train nahi pagadna
hai. And Sehwag had said, "Haan sir, to kya hua? Matlab mera game to yahi hai na." And imagine telling Sachin Tendulkar that. Haan, sir,
imagine telling that,
sir, mera game yahi hai. I mean, sheer class.
And that's the relation that we're trying to make. We saw these kind of explosive cricketers. We see these explosive footballers. And we see the same trait in guys like Khamzat Chimaev and Islam Makhachev.
Right.
The way Chimaev came out and manhandled that Li Jingliang is a tough SOB. He's tough as nails. And he's huge. He's a big, strong guy as well. And the way he carried him around like one baby, was just unreal.
It was crazy. In fact, this guy is so crazy because he's coming off COVID. He has recovered. Khamzat Chimaev has never fought in front of a crowd because he's always fought at the apex. It's the first time he's fighting in a packed stadium that's probably supporting him to the core. So coming out and finishing it that way was absolutely unreal. In fact, he finished it off in the first round. It took him 3 minutes and 16 seconds only.
It was just something. It was something spectacular to see.
Get Li Jingliang out. And the best part, Chips, he picked up Li Jingliang, went over to Dana White, having a conversation with him, and then slammed Li Jingliang and just took his back and choked him out cold. And Li Jingliang didn't submit. He went out cold.
Yeah, that's a warrior spirit right there, and props to Li Jingliang. But the thing is that it's just the way he did it, after all the madness. And of course, he takes the mic and he goes little apeshit crazy. After that, like, I want to kill everybody. I kill this, I kill that. Arey, shant rahe yaar. And at least, interview with India, he said nicely, okay, I love Indians, I love India.
I was there in Hyderabad. I like
Hyderabad. I like biryani. He doesn't want to kill us also. That's a good thing. He only wants to kill his opponents, which he certainly looks like he's doing. But that trajectory, his career path is a separate conversation that we got to take.
Man, because do you think this guy can be the next Conor McGregor? Because he behaves like him, he talks like him, he finishes like him. He has all the tools. He can strike. He can grapple, he can wrestle, his BJJ is great.
Dude, he's too well-rounded. I mean, in the sense, we've not even seen a hole in his game yet. Like Conor, we knew. Like if there was a way to exploit Conor, it would be the grappling.
Correct.
We knew that was the place. That was the only way to do it.
Correct.
And guys like Khabib proved it. And but with him, this guy is not only is he beast strong, he has got incredible grappling from that Dagestani background that he comes from. His hands are looking more and more lethal. the fact that he knocks out guys at middleweight, which is a division above what he's fighting at, proves that his power at welterweight is lethal. He's got power standing and on the ground. And believe me, guys, there's a difference between the two. There are some guys who can knock you out on your feet and then they can't knock you out on the ground. But he has power that exists in both ways. And A-level submission and strength. I don't see anybody, honestly, I was having a chat with some people. We were having a chat. Yeah. And I think guys like Colby and stuff are going to start now taking double takes. I mean, we've got such a great division. Gilbert Burns, Vicente Luque, Colby Covington, all before the champ.
Yeah. Wonderboy Thompson is also there.
Yeah, Wonderboy Thompson at number 5. But now with that last win over Lee, Khamzat has now broken into the top 10.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. And in fact, this particular gentleman, Khamzat Chimaev, has such a crazy appeal across multiple continents because he's actually based in Sweden.
He's based in Sweden?
Yeah, he's based in Sweden. But at the same time, he can fight in Russia, still get crowd. He can fight somewhere in Europe, still get crowd in. He can fight in Abu Dhabi, still get crowd in.
The Middle East loved him.
Do you think he's one of those breakout stars that the UFC could utilize across multiple levels?
Absolutely. I don't see why not. Because if you look at a guy like him, he's not only, it's the excitement value.
Yes.
You don't know what to expect from him. Yeah, he's going to win. It's too early to say this yet, but he is certainly the breakout star for the UFC.
Man, can you imagine Conor versus Khamzat?
No. That's not fair to Conor,
Conor versus Khamzat, come on.
No, with this guy, I want him to see fighting someone legitimate.
Like a Gilbert Burns, maybe.
But Gilbert is right up there. He's at number 3, man. Gilbert is not going to fight somebody like him. But I think this person who's next in line will be a great fight for all the fans is Vicente Luque.
Oh, Vicente Luque versus Khamzat would be great because they are huge welterweights. Both of them are huge, yeah.
And both these guys have knockout power. And Luque is not scared of the ground.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, he submitted Michael Chiesa. He surprised and shocked him.
In the first round.
Chiesa didn't even know what was going on.
Yeah.
He didn't even know what was going on.
Oh God, submitting a BJJ black belt could be so heartful. Yeah.
But another great star who's been proving himself over and over, has been now winning 9 fights in a row in that lightweight division, is not only the prodigy and the protege of Khabib Nurmagomedov. Islam Makhachev came in and proved a point against Dan Hooker.
Absolutely, yes. In fact, to be honest, in this entire card, I was not exactly disappointed, but my heart was paining for Dan Hooker because he stepped up. He said, listen, I'm going to, get the holes in this guy. I'm going to prove his weakness. I'm going to do all of that. And trust me, I guess 95% of the world were really rooting for Dan Hooker because he stepped up to a very, very tough, undefeated opponent because Rafael dos Anjos had to back out. And Dan Hooker said, I'm ready. I'm completely ready for this guy. And, before the year ends, I would like to fight 1 or 2 times more. But man,
I don't think that's happening now.
That's not happening because this gentleman, the way he sunk in that Kimura, it took just 1 round and 2 minutes and 25 seconds for Islam Makhachev to absolutely blow the New Zealander out of his pocket. It was devastating. Crazy. It was devastating. The way it ended, I was like, oh my God, what is happening?
It happened also quickly also. And the thing is that it will now dissuade. See, look, now there are 2 ways to look at it. Did he do a solid number for the company? Yes, he saved a fight from being cancelled. Yeah. So obviously he'll get a lot of leeway and props from the UFC. Dana White never forgets people who help them out in a tight situation.
Right.
So that's one angle of looking at it.
Like Marvin Vittori,
Marvin Vittori as well. He said, screw it. Even if you're overweight, let's still fight at a different weight.
Yeah.
And he ended up winning. So plus for him. Yeah. But the thing is that I think this will now, a situation like this is, as courageous as it is and brave as it is to do this, it is also detrimental because now Dan Hooker has now, boom. Now he's, people will say, oh, he took that on short notice, but it's the way he went out. Well, there was not even 1 punch landed by Hooker.
We have seen this thing in the past, where someone like a Donald Cowboy Cerrone used to step up and he used to be a banger, but he used to not always win. But that was Donald Cowboy Cerrone coming in with the show. Dan Hooker is not as flamboyant.
Dude, he's not Cerrone. He's not Cerrone.
He's not Cerrone. Correct. Correct. He's not Cerrone.
He's not Cerrone. He's not Chris Lieben, who'll just step in on half an hour's notice to fight. You know?
Right.
But I think it's the level of competition that's also gone up. Like you can do that against some guys. Correct. But you can't do that against upper level fighters. You really can't. You see the difference that it's not, I wouldn't say difference in skill, but I think it's it's just a risk you take, you know, for both parties. Even for somebody like Islam Makhachev, had he got upset by Dan Hooker, it would have hurt his stock quite a bit.
Absolutely. But
he was not even in trouble. Yeah, he was not even in trouble. Like not even, I don't think even he ate one shot.
He didn't.
A small leg kick, I think, that hit him, which caused him to take the takedown instantly. Yeah. And then that's all she wrote. The way he got his back, the transitions, the traps, and that Kimura eventually was just, Hooker was in such pain, man. He was in deep pain. But one of the best fights again was in the heavyweight division, where we saw the rank number 5 take on rank number 7.
Absolutely.
In the fight of the year, versus Taibura. You know, we were in the studio and there were some guys just, joking around in the back saying that, this is a good time to go refill your beer. It's a good time to go take a piss. Do whatever you want. We're not going to disparage anybody, but I think out of that banger of a card, that was the only one which was a bit of a snoozer.
Absolutely. In fact, see, the fight actually was not bad, but because we just came off Khamzat and we were looking forward to Islam Makhachev and Dan Hooker, I think this fight was just placed in the wrong zone,
No, I mean, it not just placed in the wrong zone, it actually just proved that, the difference between the top 5 heavyweights in the UFC versus everybody below that is so significant in terms of skill. It reminds me of like Amanda Nunez's division or Valentina Shevchenko's division, where it's Valentina, Andrade, and then everybody else.
Correct.
Who's just there. Who are like Nietzsche. Same with Amanda. You got Amanda and then there's everybody else.
Well, because also what happens is that the top fighters, like at least in the men's heavyweight division, the top 3, the top 4, get in that entertainment value. They come in with a knockout. They come in with a size, power, speed, finishing rate, all of that. Now, this particular fight, of course, Volkov and Taibura actually is a very good fight. But the fact that both of these are very good fighters may not be the best finishers. That's maybe why it went on to be a snoozer.
Yeah. That heavyweight fight though proved that there is a long way to climb up to get to the likes of, Stipe Miocic, champion Francis Ngannou. And I think Cyril Gane. Oh my God, how could I forget Cyril Gane? Even Derek Lewis is still number 4.
Lewis is up there,
Curtis Blades is there. And
Rosenstrike is also there.
Yes, Rosie is also there. Jairzinho is always around. So I think in that top 5, top 6, uske baad there's a big difference in the talent.
Correct. But when we speak of talent, let us get down to, according to me, the best technical fight of the night, which was in the bantamweight division for the interim belt. Peter Yan versus Corey Sandhagen. How freaking awesome was that? That was the only 5-round fight that I wouldn't mind seeing again. It was that good. The pace, the technicality, the skill, and it was back and forth. I personally do not agree with the judge's decision of 49-46.
It was 48-47.
48-47 in my eyes, because 2 rounds went to Sandhagen, 3 went to Peter Yan, but the judges thought 4 rounds went to Peter Yan and 1 round went to Corey Sandhagen. But
I don't agree with that decision. I agree with our assessment of the scorecards. But judges are judges. They're going to see the fight differently.
Correct.
But the point is that there are no winners and losers. I mean, there was a clear winner. Yes, it was Peter Yan. But the fight that these guys put on, another fight that was taken on short notice for both these men.
Yes.
It was only 6 weeks out. And Sandhagen is such a stud of a contender. He's right up there. I honestly think they're going to face each other off in the next year for sure again.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, if the listeners do not know, the original opponent to this fight was the current champion, Aljamain Sterling, that had to face off Peter Yan to kind of, see who's the real champ, because their previous face-off or their previous fight didn't end the way it should have. Yeah. It ended as a disqualification.
And you agree with that decision, right? You had literally no opinions about it, no?
No, see, actually what happens, out of adverse situations.
I'm doing only with this,
out of adverse situations, sometimes you even get someone who could be an Oscar nominee. That performance of getting up, getting your eyes big, looking around and falling back on the canvas was...
Who did it better? Josh Koscheck or Aljamain Sterling? Remember that knee from Paul Daly to Josh Koscheck? Which didn't even connect.
I personally feel Sterling did it better because he's more seasoned. He's gone for acting lessons. He's seen a lot more Oscar awards and all of that. Josh Koscheck was a real fighter.
But Koscheck also had his fair acting skills. His acting skills were also pretty good.
Absolutely. Great stuff, So if you compare these guys to Rocky Balboa and stuff like that, it's, I mean, they have some way to go. But I would definitely want to see Aljamain Sterling out there. He apparently backed off because his neck wasn't healed as yet. And the fight immediately goes on to the next contender, TJ Dillashaw, who was in surgery. He did not take it.
I know it's
Rob Font was next in line, who had a shoulder surgery. He did not take it. Corey Sandhagen was the third choice to this fight. And man, what a show did he put up.
Honestly, I'm actually kind of like, I don't want to say I'm glad that people were injured and so he got the shot, but I think it was so competitive because it was Sandhagen.
Yes.
I honestly think if Rob Font was to face Peter Yan at this point, Peter Yan would steamroll. Yes. I mean, there are very few fighters in the world who would take those shots from Yan. I mean, Yan landed 2 clean flush head kicks.
Yes.
On Corey Sandhagen. And Sandhagen, and we were talking about like, shit, what is this guy's chin made of?
Exactly.
I mean, in the future, he'll feel it later, maybe 10 years from now. But the point is that he took those shots like a boss and came after the Russian. But man,
you know what happens in this case, according to me, is that the moment you are the third choice and you have, you're in this limelight for an interim belt, I feel some guys just want to make the most of it.
It is, and that is what I mean by making the most. Like we've seen guys sometimes, when Dana has talked about this extensively. When guys, we've said that a belt is on the line, give it your best shot. Interim belt is on the line, give it your best shot. And you've seen sometimes lackluster performances from fighters because they're playing it safe or want to take the easy road in and do just the bare minimum.
Right.
But both these guys knew what was on the line, knew what was at stake. Right. They didn't care if the belt was there or not. They were looking to take their heads off each other. They were punching each other after the bell as well. If you remember, a couple of seconds after.
Yes.
They landed a few shots. I think Yan landed a spinning wheel kick. And then there was a flying knee attempt. And then boom, right after the bell, boom, boom. Both these guys hit each other.
But that's what I love about these Russians. Yeah, they don't care. They're just there to fight. And the stone cold appeal that they have is so, I don't know if it's engrossing, if it's appealing.
There's ice in his veins, man.
There is ice in his veins. Even though he's been in Thailand for 10 years, there's still ice in his veins.
I know. He's looking quite nicely tanned and all, like you said. I'm like, no, otherwise these Russian guys are like, they look like white as bread, so pale. But, speaking of who had ice in his veins was also the new UFC light heavyweight champion after making his fighting debut in 2004 to it culminating after all those years with that championship belt. Congratulations to Glover Teixeira.
Glover Teixeira, huge congratulations from all of us at the Fighting G.O.A.T and IVM podcast. And I'm pretty sure all from India, because this gentleman had got a title shot versus the mega beast John Jones way back in 2004. He lost that. He came back 7 years later to beat the legendary Polish power to reclaiming or claiming.
Legendary Polish power. That was your new word. I'm going to get you a t-shirt made saying legendary Polish power.
Well, don't get it here because Polish can be read as Polish also. Yeah. Polish.
Achha, legendary Polish power only.
But but the gentleman who got polished today was the legendary Polish power with the 42-year-old Glover Teixeira, who just kind of proved the point. I was not too satisfied with the way that went down because I felt the champion tapped out way too easily. But man,
I don't know. It was weird.
What a show it was. What a show,
I think it all started with that lead left hook. And once Glover landed that left hook, I think Yan didn't realize how hard that shot would have hurt him.
Exactly.
Because his bell was rung properly.
Yes, it was. And this is after being, on the back.
On the bottom.
For the entire first round. And you've got Glover Teixeira on top of you, who's putting all his force, who's putting all his torque, who's kind of hitting you from all angles.
And he was
almost the entire first.
constantly going tuck, 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 tuck. And Glover's a tough 230-pound man on fight night.
Absolutely.
He's heavy. He's strong. He's got that Brazilian jiu-jitsu base as well.
Yes.
He had him flattened out. He was hurting him quite a bit on the floor, but not enough to stop the fight. But slow shots, wearing him down.
Correct.
And then on the feet, cracked him. The fight went to the ground immediately. And he sliced through his guard like a hot knife through butter.
Absolutely.
And he got that win. It was so beautiful to watch.
Man, round 2, 3 minutes, 2 seconds. It took.
But Somesh
to win the belt.
But Somesh, hang on. We've seen. I think so. We going back to that. So he got hurt, and then he once he sunk the choke in, he tapped literally almost as soon as the choke went in. He tapped.
Yes.
It was like a second.
Yes,
was it? I think it was. Was it a function of like? Okay, nobody's doubting Jan's toughness. Firstly, it's all these guys are damn tough.
Extremely.
But the thing is that the way he tapped, I think it was more to do with, like, I know I'm not going to be able to get out of this. So I might as well avoid the punishment.
Well, yes, as a matter of function, yes, that could be the case because Glover had not even clasped his hands together. It was a single arm choke. He had got the position correctly. He was just getting his left hand through. And by that time, Jan had already tapped. So I don't know if it was whether Jan didn't want to take more damage or what it was. Because, we just saw Li Jingliang pass out completely. He was just not giving up. He was still holding Kamza's hand. He was not giving up. The referee stopped it when Jingliang actually passed out. It just shows me that Li Jingliang has more heart. Out here, as a viewer and as a judge and as a MMA promoter, I would say it shows me that the champion did not have or does not have enough heart. He just kind of tapped out in a matter of couple of seconds.
I think he was also hurt, man. He was badly hurt. He was gassed, maybe. He was badly hurt. And yeah, it could be the heart factor as well, or it could just be self-preservation. It's like, why? It's like he didn't want to fight out of it. It's Glover. Jan is a stand-up fighter. Yeah, he loves using leg kicks, his elbows, his knees, his punches.
No, not really. Because versus Izzy, we saw such great grappling.
Yeah, but that was only when he was on the top. And then again, he used more of his weight and his size to maul Israel Adesanya. Because when we saw Izzy with Vettori on top, big difference. Israel got out of it like it was nothing.
Right. He
got out of that and defended the takedowns after that, henceforward. But I think it was more of the weight advantage that Jan had that night on Izzy. That gassed Izzy out at the bottom.
Could be. I was just I was very disappointed that the champion or the ex-champion tapped out that easily.
You're a huge fan of Jan Blachowicz, man.
I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of the legendary Polish power. But, seeing someone tap out so easily just puts that thought in my head that he's possibly not a fighter because
No, come on. Come on. It's also Glover's choke, dude. Glover also chokes you like one anaconda.
I'm from an era where I like seeing people go like limp.
Just
and not and not really tap out. So yeah, but again, that's my personal view. I'm not saying Jan doesn't have the heart. And again, self-preservation is very, very essential in the sport because when you have to come back, and compete again, you don't want to be damaged. And sometimes these chokes or these locks
can be horrible.
And some of these shots have long-term damage. And most of these champions know as to when the stop block is for them. So, kudos to Jan, but kudos to the new light heavyweight champion of the world,
man.
Glover Teixeira. Champion at 42.
Such a great job.
The first champion at 42. And nobody had bad things to say about him, from Conor to John Jones to any of that. They said, listen, dude, kudos to you. You're a freaking
Exactly.
champion.
If there's anybody who deserves it, it'd be Glover Teixeira. The man has put in his time. He's gone through his ups and downs. He's gone through knockouts, has come back with a bang, was on a great streak, and now sees a dream realized.
Absolutely.
Though a lot of big challenges for Glover Teixeira at 42. He's breathing down. You've got a whole division of guys who are going to breathe down his neck now, starting with Yuri Prohaska in the waiting wings. But that and a lot more, we talk about resurgences in the twilight years of a fighter's career. We have a lot of other fighters to compare with, a lot of other businesses, a lot of other sports. So stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back. After a quick commercial break, you've been listening to Arjun aka Mystic Chips and Somesh the Superhuman Kamra only on the Fighting G.O.A.T. See you in a few seconds.
Come learn and experience the ABCDs of being queer with me, Shunetro,
and me, Farhad,
on our show Gay BCD.
The two of us take you through our stories and experiences of being gay men in the city of Mumbai and have candid
and sometimes downright scandalous
conversations about sexuality, gay culture, and everything in between.
Catch new episodes of Gay BCD every Tuesday on the IVM Podcast website, app, or wherever you get all your podcasts from.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Fighting G.O.A.T. That was an excellent first segment. We enjoyed that conversation. It was long, it was smooth, it was fluid. But what is long, smooth, and fluid are these champions.
What is these Ashleel talks in the morning? Yeah? I'm like, yeah.
Well,
Long,
you ended the segment with 5 seconds, so I was
fluid.
like, yeah, okay. No, like,
5 seconds. I said a couple of seconds. Could you be? Clearly, there's something going on in that moment. Not just being superhuman anymore.
Well, yeah, but the topic that we really would like to speak to all of you about is how athletes, how actors, how businessmen are peaking in the later years of their career, and this entire concept of beta jaldi karo is actually not or may not be the right way to go, because see, everyone lives till 60, 65, and it's a proven scientific fact that humans are the strongest between 33 and 45, 46. Strongest, mentally strongest, physically strongest, emotionally. So I don't know what's this hurry of saying that, अरे मुझे 30 years में ना घर भी चाहिए, बंगला भी चाहिए, गाड़ी भी चाहिए, शादी भी चाहिए, सब कुछ चाहिए.
Yeah,
सब
I
कुछ
mean,
चाहिए मेरे को.
I mean, it's not a Diwar audition, but you know what I mean. It's Gadi, Bangla, Ghar, sab. No, but my point is that yeah, you're right. I mean, you see so many guys. We see Glover. Glover himself was overcome with emotion after all these years. At 42,
Right.
he wins the belt, and
Right.
guys were like, it's such an amazing feat, which it is. But let's not forget guys like Randy Couture did it. When he won the belt from Tim Sylvia at 44 or 45.
44. Yes, 44. You're right.
I remember he came back and shocked the world by dropping Tim and then taking him around for 5 rounds. He controlled him to win that belt.
Yes.
And that was it. That was something incredible to see. And we've seen so many fighters who have made their resurgences after a point where they've not been very great in their 30s, in their late 30s, and then suddenly bang. I mean, even the legendary Anderson Silva.
Anderson, I was just
got
coming to
into
that.
his groove around 35. At 35, he was at that God mode level.
Yes.
Where he was dodging things like he was seeing them in the Matrix.
And he was beating, fighters who were like 24, 25, 28, 29.
Correct.
So he's beaten everyone. Everyone.
And the way he did it at that age. And he got into the groove till 33. He made his debut in the UFC at 33.
Exactly.
And then by 35, 36, he was just, he had reached a different level. He had reached a different level. He was signing sponsorship deals with Burger King, and he was on television shows. He's a huge star in Brazil. Then he set up his own set of gyms in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Where Anderson Silva's Muay Thai classes. And suddenly we saw that entire career trajectory change. And we've seen that. We've seen that in so many things. And even in cricket, I don't remember. Has guys like, do you remember Robin Singh? Like Robin Singh.
Dude, Robin Singh, Mahendra Singh Dhoni.
Fight the odds.
These guys came in when they were 27, 28. When normally people say, you must enter when you're 19.
Correct. Like how Kohli did.
Correct.
Kohli caught it when he was 19, 20.
Correct.
But Robin Singh I remember that series with Australia where Robin Singh and Ajay Jadeja.
Yes, I was just going to talk about Ajay Jadeja.
The combination of these two guys, both these 30-something-year-olds were outrunning and outplaying all the kids.
Yes.
And they did it in the most amazing and spectacular fashion. You could see, I also believe, that after a certain age, you get a lot more serious about what you want to do.
Yes.
You start taking that craft seriously. It's that maturity which steps in, because you're done screwing around. You're done dicking around. You're not there to party. You're not there to get drunk. You're not there to do this, other chutiagiri.
Yeah.
So when you start taking that seriously, and sometimes that happens at a later age.
Right.
That you see that difference. I mean, like Robin Singh, Ajay Jadeja were awesome. I will never forget that series.
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely. In fact, I've seen so many, people in this generation who try and enter young and try and make a mark, but sadly, mentally, they are not yet matured to, get into that fish pond as yet. And it's just a zone that they should not enter. So many psychologists have said until about 25, you're just exploring the world.
Yeah.
You need to choose what you want to do only post that. And of course, this is not really a benchmark.
Or in my case also, till you're 37, you're still exploring the world.
Yeah. But you know what? That is the Bunty and Bubbly mode, which I don't know, but I think it's great. I think it's fabulous because, you are an established photographer and you're dabbling with other things that you love doing. So I think that's a perfect space to be in. Rather than, I know so many youngsters who by 18, 19 have said, oh, I want to become a painter. And then by 24, and by 24, they're like, "Arey, painting se to main bore ho gaya, abhi main kya karu? Oh, I want to become a sculptor." By 28, they're bored of that also. And they're still bored. They're still trying. They're still doing stuff. And they still don't know where they are.
Now there has become a very existentialist question now. Who are we? What are we?
It's not a bad thing.
Why are we?
I'm saying it's not a bad thing. But there are so many people taking pressures and looking around and saying, oh, but he bought a BMW at 30.
Correct.
And I'm still searching for my new job. I don't know where I stand in life. Guys, come on. Look within yourself. Your competition is only with you and with nobody else. Because at the end of the day, you have to put food on your table. Nobody else is doing it for you. Nor do you have to do it for somebody else.
Exactly.
So honestly, don't get caught in this rut of, I need to prove myself and be like a Mark Zuckerberg at the age of 27.
But see, the thing is that the Zuckerbergs and the Bill Gates are unique. People.
Yeah.
But then you have at the same time you have like the founder of Amazon who started in his twilight. I wouldn't call it twilight. Till he was 40, he was late 30s. He was just saying, oh, I just want to sell books online. That's it.
Yeah.
Nobody expected him to become this, high-end multi-billion-dollar conglomerate. Yes. Amazon today is the go-to for everything.
Absolutely.
Whether you want to breathe, like you see, na 10 baar abhi jaake gaye Amazon. Next, Amazon will start Hawala services and security also. Ab bhendi darwaja nahi khol rahe tu. Ruk main Amazon ko bhejta hu. Ruk tu. You see, Amazon security guard. I won't put it past him, but the man started it when he was older. And there is never, in sports, yes, there's a time limit. But we've seen some amazing things in sports. After leaving the sport for 25 years, a 60-something-year-old Mike Tyson is kicking ass.
Yeah.
It's Mike fucking Tyson kicking ass.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's Mike Tyson because he's one of the greatest boxers in the world. But to be able to do that in your later years, it's something unique. You might not be the same physically. Your body is not the same at that age, but I think there is some merit to finding success in your later years.
Absolutely. And I truly believe that, the medical professionals, the psychologists and all these guys, when you study the human brain and the human body, they must be having a lot of research done before making these statements that the body reaches its peak only post 33. And again, I'm saying mentally, physically, and emotionally. So it really cuts across a lot of brackets. But man, that pretty much takes us to where we want to go with the next segment, dude.
What is the next card, man? It is going to be amazing. It's going to be absolutely amazing.
268. But, I have one last question when it comes to age versus greatness.
Yeah, tell me.
There are guys, like Henry Cejudo. There are guys like Khabib who actually kind of left the sport in their early 30s. They obviously have great records. They've accomplished a lot. And they call themselves the greatest of all times. Now,
it's a difficult one.
Do you particularly agree someone who has kind of, got where they have to and just left the sport and said, listen, I'm the greatest. It's like Hrithik Roshan after Kaho Na Pyar Hai hitting all records, retiring and saying, listen, I'm the greatest. Is that valid? Do you think it's the ideal way to go? Or does it mean you need to test yourself, jump up and down, see, couple of belts up or down, see who else is there in the market? Maybe schedule a comeback.
That's a double-edged sword, because at the one hand, you can say that he started early and you have a lot of guys who peak early and then they diminish. And we've seen that in the sport, in life. And But in fighting, though, I mean, if it's a very tough thing to answer because the world is right now talking to Khabib and telling him, like, dude, you're only 33. You've already retired. And now you're sitting on the sidelines coaching the next generation of fighters who are kicking ass. He's becoming undefeated in his coaching as well. And my point here is, with Henry Cejudo as well, he retired. But I think somewhere they knew that they were going to lose. I think they knew somewhere. So? Look at who came after Triple C. Is Figueiredo, Brandon Moreno, the kind of fighters that have come. Yeah. Would Triple C have held his own? I absolutely think he would have. Right. Triple C is such a stud. Henry Cejudo is such a stud. He would have held his own, no doubt. Same thing that happened with but then guys like on the flip side, there are guys like Aldo who were dominant for 10 years. Right. And then suddenly, have they go into a slump. Right. And then they maybe see a resurgence. Maybe that's why Khabib and Triple C don't want to go through that path. They want to leave on top.
Could it also be mental fatigue where after so many years, after you've started young, maybe 15, 16, you've been doing this for about 15 years. Do you think they also somehow lack motivation and say, listen, I'm done with the weight cutting. I don't want to eat all those.
That could be a huge thing, dude.
The food and the supplements and the USADA testing and all of that. Do you think at some level people get tired of that too and say, listen, I don't want to go. Like fighting is one aspect, but there's possibly 30 things that happen before that.
Very true. I mean, you can see so many things that are happening, so many factors that can play into it, Right. Khabib losing his father was a big factor because he said he didn't want to do that. He said that his mother didn't want him to fight anymore. Right. Or it could very well be that the process of getting in shape for a fight is so strenuous. Right. There's only so much you can do of it. And maybe he realized that maybe, you never know. Internally, maybe he's got issues, dude. Maybe his knees are hurting. Maybe his back is gone. All that high-level grappling, the toll it takes on your body is unreal.
And mind.
And eventually he's just like, dude, you know what? I'm in a good place. I've got Eagle Telecom opening up for me. Right. I've got all the money I need for the next 2 generations. Right. I'm a simple man. I live a simple life. I don't need to put my body through this. The only way I can stay connected with the sport is I'll be my coach and get all the rest of my boys to win. So I don't blame somebody like him doing that. Will there always be a question mark? Saying that, oh, you know what, Khabib left because guys like Charles Oliveira came onto the scene? Yes, maybe. I believe that somewhere.
Yes, absolutely.
I believe that somewhere that also maybe because, as much I want to give the Khabib the benefit of the doubt because he's never backed out of a fight and he's never backed down from an opponent.
Right.
But it's, I think sometimes it can weigh in on a champion's mind as well. I can see some killers coming out of the blue. And right now, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody like Kamaru Usman is thinking that right now. After looking at Khamzat Chimaev, that top 5 of the welterweight division is certainly shaking a little bit. Yeah.
But what's not going to be shaky is the next card.
Oh, yes, sir. Absolutely. We had a banging UFC 267, and now we are going to move into our final segment about UFC 268. It's got a great card coming. Guys, stay tuned. You've been listening to The Fighting G.O.A.T with Mystic Chips and Superhuman Kamra only on ivmpodcast.com. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these quick messages.
Eventually, you'll see the end of your childhood.
Get accustomed to womanhood.
Enjoy the experience of sisterhood.
Might get to wifehood.
Or not. Choose motherhood.
Or not. You'll learn to define your personhood.
Earn a livelihood.
Change the neighborhood.
And get rid of the falsehood that life post-academia is easy.
So join me, Natasha.
And me, Ayushi.
On a journey from station starting point.
To station, what now?
Next station, Pudil station. And hopefully, Agla station, adulthood.
Fresh episodes out every Thursday.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the final segment of the Fighting G.O.A.T, where Mystic Chips and Somesh Superhuman Kamra will discuss UFC 268, which is coming up this Sunday, which is 7th of November. at 7 o'clock in the morning, only on Sony Sports
Wait,
Network.
hang on. 7 a.m. We are opening the card once again.
Absolutely. It's the shortest turnaround time for us in the studio, where we are back in 7 days. Looking forward to meeting and seeing all you guys. You can write to us, tweet to us, hashtag us, tag us. But before that, right now we are on the Fighting Goats. You're listening to the most exciting combat podcast in India, where we're going to be discussing. Holy shit, the card is crazy.
Dude, it is mental. I've been looking at that card for a long time.
Alec Winter is on the prelims.
It's so mental that a former title challenger with Khabib Nurmagomedov in that lightweight division is now fighting on the prelims.
Oh,
that just goes to show how stacked this card is. Take us through it, Mr.
You know
Kamra.
what? It's so crazy because UFC 267 had some pullouts, but the replacements were so good. UFC 268 has fighters which I think even if they don't have any arms or limbs or legs or knees, they will fight. It's starting off in the bantamweight division with Frankie Edgar and Marlon Chito Vera.
Oh my God, man. Marlon Vera versus Frankie Edgar is going to be one of the most bangers. Chito Vera is, of course, a very special fighter for Somesh Kamra because, well...
He beat my favorite fighter, no?
He beat your most favorite human on earth.
But let us run through the fight card.
In
the featherweight division. In the featherweight division, we have Shane Burgos and Billy Quarantilo.
Man, that's a good fight as well. Shane Burgos, he suffered a loss to Edson Barboza the last time by a very weird knockout.
The freak knockout, no?
The freak knockout. But man, up until that moment, Shane Burgos is such a stud. Great hands, incredible boxing. It's going to be a good fight.
But the next three fights is something that I wanted to kind of turn the AC down, kind of cool down a little bit, just make the environment.
In
the lightweight division, Justin Gaichi takes on Michael Chandler.
Oh my God,
I'm sweating already.
This has got Fight of the Year written all over it. Fight of the freaking year.
Absolutely. When Justin Gaichi is involved, it's always going to be violent. But Michael Chandler has made a very interesting statement. He said, if the world thinks Justin Gaichi is violent, they've not seen Michael Chandler. I mean,
you never know.
You never know.
I mean, both these guys bang.
And it's a 3-round fight, so I'm sure they're going to be pressing the gas for the 15
this is
minutes.
not fair. Yeah. For fights like this, you have to do 5 rounds. At least. Minimum. But with guys like Gaichi and Chandler, you will not need 5 rounds. But the option available hona chahiye. The option must be available.
Well, that takes us now to the co-main event of the evening. In the women's strawweight division, the champion Rose Namajunas is facing Weili Zhang, the one that she stole the belt from with that crazy left kick on the face. Prack!
Yeah, cut through her guard. But I think, I think Zhang Weili was still warming up. She was not warm yet.
Yeah,
She was just getting ready. But I promise you, we saw the primetime promos and the prep leading up to this fight. She's looking bigger. She's looking as big as Jessica Andrade.
Well, she's looking as big as Kamaru Usman.
Kamaru Usman, not that big. Kamaru Usman is a big welterweight, man.
Well, absolutely, because the main event of the evening, UFC 268, is for the welterweight strap, a rematch between Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington. Make America great again.
Yes, the MAGA versus Kamaru Usman.
You mean the Naga. The Naga versus the MAGA.
Naga versus the MAGA. But when you look at this card, it's a nightmare to even pick anything. You can't pick. You just cannot pick fights in this fight, especially the main event and co-main event. Gaichi Chandler possibility, yes, there is a possibility.
No, I can't pick that. Come on, Gaichi Chandler. No, I mean I
think we on the Fighting Goat are sitting this one out, huh? Like even we are not going down this road.
No ways. The format of the Fighting Goat is where the two hosts, experts, whatever we can call us, fans have to pick. Whatever it is, we have to pick.
Yeah, it's too hard.
Because if we don't pick, the fans don't pick, and if the fans don't pick, then they don't get our awesome t-shirts.
That's true. Awesome t-shirts, fridge magnets, and now much more.
Love, basically.
Love. Pyar. Humse pyar nahi milega. No, but the point is that, we look through that first fight, Frankie Edgar. Firstly, guys, this is in fact going to be one of Frankie Edgar's last fights. Yeah, he said that he might be retiring after that, depending on the outcome of this fight. And, he's been going through a rough patch. He's been hurt in his last few fights. Yeah, the knockout of Sandhagen was brutal. Was so brutal. He fell. He was unconscious in the air and fell on his face.
Brian Ortega. And
I
knocked
mean,
him out
Ortega as well,
in
man.
a
That
vicious
was
way. Yeah, it was
mad. It
vicious.
was mental. So it's in a way that's great because Frankie Edgar's had such a long career. He's a champion in the lightweight champion, and then he moved to feather, and he started his career again. But he's got his hands full with Marlon Vera. So what are you going to pick, Somesh? Who's it going to be, Marlon or Frankie?
Oh, it's tough one because it's experience versus the young blood. I would go with Marlon Chito Vera for this one.
Same. I'm predicting this by knockout for Marlon Vera.
Oh, knockout really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I have
poor
a feeling.
Frankie. Poor Frankie.
You know, but you know what? Frankie has proven me wrong in the past. So that's
true.
That's awesome.
True.
All right.
So
Now
both of us pick Marlon Vera.
Marlon Vera,
The next one, Shane Burgos versus Billy Quarantilo. Let's go, Chips.
Oh man, I got Shane Burgos.
Oh,
all
they
day.
shared same
That
for
guy
me.
is a
It's
bad
Shane
mofo.
Burgos.
Shane Burgos by whatever he wants.
He's a mean guy from the farms, he's like this guy who comes off the ranch, with a topi and a horse and with that cigar in his mouth saying, "Let's go, motherfuckers."
Let's go. And can you imagine, dude, if in the past we'd seen the banger that we might have witnessed between Shane Burgos and Donald Cerrone. Donald could drop down to feather. You know how much fun that would have been? A prime Donald versus Burgos?
Would be violent. But
Violence.
at the moment, Mystic Chips and me are rowing the same boat because we have picked the same guys. But that was the easy part of the game. Let us go to the lightweight division between Justin Gaichi and Michael Chandler.
I can't do this.
No, you have to.
I really, I can't.
For the fans, you have to. For the fans.
God, it's so difficult to pick, man. It's so difficult to pick. Both these guys are so close to the belt at all times. They're perennial top 3 guys. Gaichi versus Chandler. God.
Well, Chandler's debut versus Dan Hooker was absolutely explosive.
It was fire.
Chandler almost knocked out the current champion,
dude.
Charles Oliveira.
A lot of people saying had he exercised some little bit of patience, he would have been the champ today.
Exactly.
It's you can never count out Chandler's left hook.
Absolutely.
It comes out in the most sneaky manner. The way he ducks and pulls it out of nowhere is nasty. And it has hurt literally everyone he has touched with that left hook has been in trouble.
Absolutely.
But
so his left hook is almost like Glover's left hook. I mean, if it connects, I'm sorry, but you're going down.
Or Anthony Rumble Johnson's wind around him that connects. Anthony Rumble doesn't have to hit you also to knock you out. He just no, and then Chandler, who is such a scrappy mofo. He is so tough, got some of the most insane leg kicks in that division. He will numb your leg with those calf kicks. He hurt the former champ, Khabib, forced him into a takedown because of that horrible leg kick which buckled Khabib.
Right.
But okay, so who you got? First you go. I'm taking my time.
All this while that, we were talking about this, I was looking at Gaichi. But now that I think of it more, now your expert analysis has made me swing to Chandler.
Oh, no, I'm going to go with Gaichi, man.
Oh, really?
I'm going to go with Gaichi. Yeah.
Oh, nice. See, Chandler, according to me, knows his career in the UFC is quite short. He's here to make an impact. He knows he has to prove a point. Justin Gaichi has done it all. He's, kind of fought for the title.
But dude, we just spoke about resurgence. We spoke about champions in the twilight.
No, don't change my mind. No,
it could happen. It could happen with Chandler, man. Chandler's only 35.
And the best part is what? If, whoever wins this may face Islam Makhachev next.
No. Islam has to fight Benil. There is no doubt in my mind. Islam needs to fight Benil. He cannot frog.
But
come on.
I mean, let's see. Sean Shelby, Mick Maynard are the best to judge that. But I'm going for Michael Chandler in this one.
I'm going for Justin Gaichi.
Mystic Chips is going for Justin Gaichi. Dude, the co-main event of the evening. The 5-round banger.
Oh, this one's easy.
Between Rose Namajunas and Wiley Zhang. No, it's not going to be easy. Don't think so.
Okay, we've got my pick. You know my pick, but it's if you look at Rose Namajunas, she's one of those very scrappy fighters. She's got great control on her range, and ever since she's been with Pat Barry and Trevor Whitman, she's been looking so good. Her skills are getting sharper. You've seen that in the wars with Andrade. You've seen that with Joanna Jędrzejczyk. She is a champion for a reason, a second-time champion now, and she's going to look to defend that belt, but she's taking on a marauder in Zhang Weili. Zhang Weili is one of the toughest. She looks like Mike Tyson in that division. She hits so hard. She's got attacks coming from every angle, and her grappling game is ever evolving.
Very true.
This is a tough one to pick, man. What do you got, Somesh?
It's crazy because I'm kind of changing my picks as this analysis goes.
I told you have to do by tactic. You have to just say in the last minute, na wo subah 7:25 when we asked that question, that's when I will give you my answer.
So I'm going with Rose Namajunas for this one.
Oh my God. So you're saying the champion will retain.
And still.
Okay. I'm saying, and now, 2-time strawweight champion, Zhang Weili. Zhang is taking that belt back.
Oh, really? You think so?
Yes.
I personally feel, if you ask me, I think Rose Namajunas is mentally stronger.
Look, all these guys are mentally strong. I think it's just that Zhang Weili wants it. Both want it. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. It's too hard. But I'm going
think
with
Weili can crack. According to me, she'll crack because...
by that logic, you can see even Rose can crack. No,
she's fierce. She wants it so bad, but a couple of shots. I mean, again, I don't know.
But see, the thing is that we've seen Zhang Weili only flash knocked out, but we have seen Rose in trouble. She's been badly knocked out by Andrade by slam. She's been hurt and busted up badly by Andrade.
And Weili's power cannot be ignored.
You cannot sleep on Weili's power.
She's too strong. She's too strong. But I'm still going and still.
Okay.
The undisputed strawweight champion of the world.
I'm going with Annu.
Rose Namajunas. Mystic Chips is going with Zhang Weili.
Zhang Weili is going to do it too.
And now the main event of the evening. In the welterweight division for the belt, a rematch between Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington.
That's a really tough one.
You gotta make one pick. Man.
This is a combination of grappler, striker versus striker, grappler. Both these guys are coming from wrestling backgrounds, incredible wrestling backgrounds. Yeah. Kamaru is the physically more imposing one. He looks tougher, and ever since he's shown his knockout power, that knockout of Jorge Masvidal. Jorge Masvidal is tough as nails, not easy to knock out.
He's never been knocked out. That was his first knockout.
And that just goes to show. Then the way he knocked him out, he didn't TKO him. He knocked him out asleep in the air. He was asleep in the air.
Clean
knockout. And Colby Covington doesn't possess that kind of knockout power in his hands.
Correct.
It's going to be an interesting one because a lot of people thought Colby was winning that first fight till he got his jaw broken and knocked out.
Yes.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Who you got, Somesh?
Okay. I would, with all my experience out here, I think, I'm not very happy because I want Colby to be the champ, but really? I think Kamaru is going to keep the belt.
Okay. I think, I agree. I think Kamaru Usman retains. Yeah. But I won't put it past Colby to dethrone that champ because he almost did it the first time. He could. We all know that we're in for a treat. It's going to be a war. But sometimes, Somesh, we've noticed this. In fact, sometimes 99 out of 100 times, the rematch never goes the way the original does.
Yes, absolutely.
Never goes the way.
I completely agree with that. But if you guys want to make your picks and win some exclusive, cool Fighting G.O.A.T merchandise, please write to us, tag us, hashtag us with all your picks for UFC 268. One lucky winner will win a extremely cool t-shirt from the Fighting G.O.A.T.
Absolutely, my friends. Please hashtag us, tag us on every place. Somesh, give me your tags.
Well, on Instagram, I'm somesh.kamra, and on Twitter, it is somesh_kamra. And the Fighting G.O.A.T is the Fighting G.O.A.T on Instagram.
All right. I am at the Mystic Chips on Twitter and at Arjun Chips on Instagram. Guys, don't forget to tag us, hashtag us, your chance to win a lot of merchandise. Follow the Fighting G.O.A.T for a lot more content. And do not forget to tune in at 7 a.m. for the pre-show, the Ultimate Guide to UFC with yourself, with me, Mystic Chips, and my friend Somesh, the Superhuman Kamra, doing, I like the t-shirt, doing the entire pre-show analysis for exclusively on Sony 10-1 for UFC 268. So guys, don't forget to tune in for that. Don't forget to tune in for a lot more content only on the Fighting G.O.A.T Instagram handle and on ivmpodcast.com. Stay tuned. We will see you next week. Until then, happy Diwali, happiness, wealth, and prosperity to all of our fans and listeners. We'll see you next time.
Season 3 of Echoes of India, your favorite history podcast, is back on the IVM Podcast Network. I'm your host, Anirudh Kanasetti. Join me on a journey through the wonders of early India as we explore the centuries between Buddha and Ashoka with critical research, empathy, and great storytelling. Along the way, you'll hear from all the vibrant peoples who shaped our world, from monks and farmers to warriors and emperors. New episodes are out every Monday.
पेश खिदमत है आपकी शान में हमारे अंजुमन से. Hi, I am Sadaf.
And I'm Archit. खाने का इतिहास, economics, policy, psychology, सब है मेन्यू पे.
Only on the Nankali podcast every Wednesday. सिर्फ IVM podcast ऐप या वेबसाइट पर या फिर जहां से भी आप अपने पॉडकास्ट सुनते हो.